Happy Monday, Angela.
What does that mean?
It's Monday, so I'm saying happy Monday to
Happy
you.
Monday.
We made it. We made it through another weekend together.
You weren't so sure?
Well, who can be sure about anything anymore?
That's true. That's true. Can you hear my stomach grumbling?
Was that your stomach?
It
I
was.
thought it might have been a dog growling.
I know. Sorry. Embarrassing. Did you have a nice weekend?
It was really mellow. Hello, Guilty Angel.
Hello.
Yes, it was very mellow, but it was nice.
It's
I
nice,
watched,
right?
one too many shark movies.
That's my fault.
But, apart from all the shark movies, I had I had a pretty good time. I didn't hate the shark movies.
I made Dale watch another action movie double feature again, and this time
I think it was a triple feature, if I'm not mistaken. I think we watched 3 shark movies. Was it 3 shark movies?
It was 1 piranha movie and 2 shark movies.
I liked the piranha movie, despite the fact that it was just a misogynistic, but it was like the old school, whatever.
It was great.
It was really fun. It was hilarious. It had a crazy cast.
I know.
Starting with Richard Dreyfuss to start the whole thing off.
Uh-huh.
And these are not my movies.
What I loved about Richard Dreyfuss beginning the film Piranha 3D, in case you guys want to watch it, is that he kind of plays the same character he played in Jaws, like as if he was like old and retired.
Sure.
Like it was like a real throwback
Yeah.
to his character. He played the same guy.
Anyway, what I was saying was these aren't my movies. This isn't like the movie I go like, oh, I'm crazy about this movie. I got to go like, I just don't, these aren't the movies I go see.
No, of course not. Of course. It was supposed to be
But
just like brainless fun on the weekend.
But
I'm not like trying to Oppenheimer you.
But I got into that one.
The double feature that I had planned this weekend was prehistoric sea monsters. Okay.
Yes.
The genre.
Yes.
And what we watched was Piranha 3D.
Yeah.
Which was great. It had Adam Scott in it, who we've both appreciated on Severance.
Yeah.
He's nominated for an Emmy, and he gets to save the day.
Yeah.
He gets to be a hero in Piranha 3D, which is always fun. He like jumps on a water ski, and like grits his teeth, and he looked like he had a lot of fun doing it.
Firing a big giant double barrel pew pew.
Yeah, right. And then also the second one was The Meg, which is also about prehistoric monsters that get released by by a earthquake and then wreak havoc. So they're the same genre, the same premise. They both have monsters that are prehistoric monsters that get released by an earthquake. 2 movies, different monsters.
Yep.
One's in the lake, one's in the ocean.
Super fun. Anyway, the shark movies, which were the Meg movies.
The Meg movies are terrible.
With Jason Statham. I'll tell
Very
you what,
much do not recommend.
the weirdest thing about those movies was like, I didn't like them. I thought they were just absolute garbage writing.
They were a mess.
Like, I felt like it was like, write it in a weekend, give it to some like super fast polished guy in Hollywood who can like whip out like a shooting script in like 5 minutes. And then they just, kind of pump that out. But what was really weird about it, beyond like just the whole cookie cutter, like taking viewers' money and run, and the whole theft of it all, not just money, but our time, was this clear, like, sort of Chinese money, right? It's so clearly like, and I remember, of course, I was actually going to AFM, in 2014, 15, 16, or actually it was 2015, 16, 17. And I went to AFM for those 3 years, and everything was China. It was all about China. It was all
Chinese
about like
money.
Yeah, it was all
filmmaking.
Right. But it was like, so interestingly, and this is like a perfectly acceptable strategy. I think Canada did the same thing. There's a certain amount of requirement for government funding, for co-funding in these productions, for their cultural content inclusion, right? Like there has to be like, they have to include China, and so they'll often, now when you have a situation like Chinese where there's like a totally different alphabet and all this stuff, so they give you point system for the amount of money you can get, or they just have some basic qualifications that you have to have, right, in order to get the money. Anyway, so it's weird to see it played on screen, because it means you have to have like one of the principal stars has to be Chinese speaking, and you can see that in every one of them. So they have to be Chinese speaking. Then there has to be a certain amount of actual Chinese spoken. You can see that in the script.
That's
so
interesting.
So there's all these different requirements.
It worked too. They assimilated it really well.
So well, that's why it's so formulaic in many ways, because they just like put it all together and then they like, you know, kind of ship it in this like cookie cutter form where they're basically, it's almost like filling out a grant application in a creative way. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's like the grant application is the movie itself, right? So it has to like meet all kinds of other state requirements. So that would mean that there's a certain amount of ultimately censorship going on, or just we won't do business with anybody who's showing any skin that exceeds this, that, or the other thing.
Yeah.
They had some bathing suits and stuff like that. You know, compared, for example, to Piranha 3D, where like we would watch like actual boobies getting bitten off.
Spoiler, Dale.
Yeah, hey, listen. I mean, you gotta, you know, it's no movie. It's a very small spoiler. It would be in the trailer, in my trailer. So
it was interesting how in the Meg, the first one and the sequel, you know, it's like a monster movie, but the only characters who were trying to save and keep their family unified, were Chinese.
Yeah.
And it was also like the company that was in charge of all the tech that saved everybody. That was a Chinese company.
So it
was like they definitely were cast as like the heroes of it, but then there's like Jason Statham, who's like the American like brawn, who's
but he's not American, is he? But yes,
a rescuer. No, but that's like the archetype.
The archetype, yeah.
I don't know. American obviously isn't an archetype, but you know what I mean.
No, I know what you mean. It's like the whole like the American hero or archetype is really what that is.
I just thought that was really interesting. How they were like, yes, the heart of this story is going to be entirely Chinese. And I really like that because it suits me fine because I feel like I'm really like insulated, like consuming American media and American films for most of my life. Like I feel like I'm not really exposed to too much. Like that they had a whole like you know, heart-wrenching like scene, like the crying scene in the movie was all in Chinese and subtitled.
Yeah.
In this like middle of this action movie.
Yeah.
I thought it was kind of cool.
Yeah.
The movie though was...
Well, I certainly don't have any problem with watching Chinese content. It's just weird to see it. It's weird to be fed this like big Hollywood
in an action movie. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
This big Hollywood like popcorn movie.
A monster movie.
A big monster movie that's set in this like Chinese setting, which is like, obviously, I think there was an idea of like Godzilla in Japan, and you know, so there's all these like parallels, and there's all this like
they actually did a lot
formula.
Yeah, a lot of the exact same things that happened with the last Godzilla movie we saw, Godzilla -1, happened in the Meg. Like they copied it.
Exactly.
Which, you know, might have been in like an homage, right? I guess.
No.
Why not?
I'm not going with homage on
that. How many pineapples? What's your rating? Your pineapple rating?
On which one?
Piranha 3D out of 5 pineapples.
I give it three very like enthusiastic pineapples.
3. Not 4.
No.
Not 3.5. You can do half a pineapple. They
you can get a half a pineapple. Can you get like a couple of chunks?
Pineapples can be cut.
Dude, you know what? Pineapple chunks could be the absolute worst. Crushed pineapple. Well, I think that tiny pineapples, I wouldn't, you know, quit trying to coerce me, okay, into giving it a higher rating, Angela.
Okay, so it's three
I'm
tiny
giving
pineapples.
It 3 fucking pineapples.
Okay.
That's my you know, that's my standard here.
Okay, and the Meg, the first one.
The Meg,
yeah.
I'm gonna give it, you know, you said I can give half pineapples.
Yes.
Oh, I'll give it a half a pineapple.
1/2 of a pineapple.
I hated it like in all of its form. I thought it was garbage from end to end. I didn't find a single redeeming part of it. Not one thing was redeemable.
It wasn't entertaining garbage?
It held my interest only in the fact that I promised I would watch it with you, and that it was, well, not promised, but it was like, it was a form of suffering.
Dale's so self-sacrificial. I never know until it's too late that he's done something like this. We could have turned it off, babe.
Guilty Angel's asking for quarter pineapples at this point.
Quarter pineapples, yeah. I liked the special effects. I thought that it was fun.
Is TikTok gone? Oh no, there it is.
What?
I thought I lost TikTok for a second. It scared me. Yeah, sorry.
I would have given it more pineapples than a half a pineapple.
Yeah, I'm being harsh. I'll give it a 1.5 pineapples.
1.5?
I'll give it 1.5. I'll give it 1.5 pineapples because at times Jason Statham is an engaging character on screen at times.
He plays the way he's supposed to play.
Yeah.
Perfectly.
I give it I give it a 1, and also because they're able to, so but it's a very formulaic thing,
Yeah,
it's
but
like,
he like never
he's
misses.
like, he's like Bruce Willis meets like whatever, Chuck Norris. I don't know.
Mixed with an Olympic diver.
Yeah, with an Olympic caliber diver. Yeah,
You get to see him swim a lot, dive a lot, and swim a lot in those movies, which is fun because he's such a pro.
There's like a scene where he takes off his shirt, and the Chinese lady, who's absolutely stunning, cannot stop looking at his body. It's harassment.
I thought that was well acted.
It was. She did a really great job.
That was adorable. But it just didn't belong. I mean, the thing about the reason why I don't like that movie, The Meg, is that it was just like the pacing was constantly changing all over the place. Like they would build momentum and then completely destroy it with like a slower talking scene. It's just like, what are we doing?
And also time. like
it was just mess.
There's so many ridiculous, like completely cannot happen. And it's like, it's a weird thing because it didn't like really seem to...
the scenario obviously can't happen. I mean, come on. Also, like the shark kept changing sizes the whole time.
But they didn't like, what I'm saying is they didn't like, you keep doing this with us now. She's like, oh, they are doing the tiny pineapples still. It's a 1.5 tiny pineapples for me. Jason Statham is the only reason it gets 1.5. The production values were fine, but I'm sure it had the budget. It had all this Chinese money behind it. I liked the Chinese integration, although I found the whole formulaic side of it to be practically insulting versus Piranha 3D, where I was like, these guys, this group of filmmakers, actors, everybody included, were like, we're going to have a good time and we're going to put them on, and everybody gets to go on a ride.
I totally agree with you. Piranha 3D was like, it was like Critters. No, not Critters. What was the one about the...
Definitely not like Critters.
No.
This is like very
Critters.
R-rated.
What was the one that was Tremors? It was like Tremors.
Sure.
Where like everybody's acting their best, right? And it's like they're in absurd situations, but they're all just like really like committed, you know? I loved it. To me, it's like one knew exactly what it was.
Exactly. We just said it at the exact same time. One knew what it was,
yes.
And the other had no identity at all.
Yeah.
And I felt like that. So if you haven't seen any of the Meg movies, 1.5 tiny pineapples, if that's something you want to check out.
I was actually really astonished because I looked up the filmmakers for both of these movies.
Yeah.
And the guys the cinematographer and the director of the Meg have an amazing career.
Yeah.
Where they do really, really like objectively incredible, well done movies. And
I mean,
one was just trash. I feel like
were they too.
Huh?
I'm sorry to talk over you. People get paychecks too. You know, they just take paychecks.
I don't even know what they were doing with the lighting. It's weird.
That's what we watched.
Listen,
it was good.
What I need you to do, Dale,
Yeah.
is speak up when you don't want to watch something or when we're watching something that's bad. I don't need you to suffer through something and then find out later while we're talking to 10 other people.
We can talk about this offline, but no, I'm going to watch the movies we watch and then I'm going to review them on the live. You know, I'm not going to, it's okay. I don't mind that we watch them because this is useful. I get to have a good time and speak with our friends online and tell them about my experience about it. But, you know, and besides that, you can't find out a bad movie till you watch it.
I stand by my selection of these two movies as a nice pairing for a double feature because they're both about prehistoric monsters that were released by earthquakes at the bottom of bodies of water.
I used to go to like double features all the time. And like, for me, they both have to be excellent movies in terms of like, for it to be like a win, like for it to be like a good idea going in, you can't know them ahead of time unless you do, right? Like if you're able to put together a pairing in retrospect, you're not going to put the Meg in there, I hope. And
definitely not the sequel. Oh my God. Skip it.
But if you're going to like create a pairing that you don't know, you know, then there was no reason not to watch those two movies. You know, if you were recommending those because you had seen them before and you're like, you're going to have a great time, then I would question everything I know about you. No, I'm kidding. I'm absolutely kidding. And really, like, I'm being really, really, really hard on it.
And what is the cause of this divorce? Well, her movie taste.
The shit he said online about my fucking movie taste. I've had enough. Just the straw that busted the camel in two. Okay, well, anyway, there it is. Meg 2. By the way, part of the reason why they get like 1.5 tiny pineapples is because they absolutely have had no respect for the rules of, or I don't know how to put it. The suspension of disbelief. They completely abused it.
In the Meg.
It was so, and it's not about the monster, because I bought Jurassic Park and I'll buy all that. I buy zombie movies. That's all within the easy realms of the suspension of disbelief. It's when you do things where you completely defy all physics.
Yeah.
And you lie to me about physics, simple physics, right, that everybody knows.
And how long somebody can hold their breath underwater.
Or how much pressure they can take.
Right.
Or how
they
much
were
pressure
walking
they can take. No, hey, that. No. That's the case. Somebody's going to check out the 1.5 stars. You can't be dropping the spoilers like that.
Okay. Yeah, that's true. That was in the sequel, though, that they were like walking along the seafloor. And you're like, you can't do that.
All right, spoil it. Fuck it. Yeah, they did that. They walked along the seafloor. And that's just so ridiculous. I mean, the amount of 25,000 feet beneath the surface of the water.
No, they didn't.
They did not.
No.
So that was another reason why I got like 1.5 times pineapples, because you can't, that's just like so insulting to me. Like I just like sitting there, I was like, you expect me to watch the rest of this movie? Jason Statham didn't even have a suit on.
He's got his like his big abs and pecs to like repel the pressure forces.
And then they like throw in some goddamn stupid pseudoscience about how like he took a pill or whatever, fucking stupid shit.
Oh yeah, they had him like
By the way, I bought the submersibles with the big fucking windshields. It's like, okay, fine, whatever. We're having a little fantasy game here. You got big windshields in 25,000 feet. I'll buy that. That's what I'm talking about. There's the suspension of disbelief that like, yeah, sure, no problem. I'm in. I'll play.
They also stole that concept from The Abyss. Remember where
they bought it from everything, didn't they?
Yeah, of course. Where where you're supposed to inhale seawater in order to swim through seawater without it compressing your lungs.
No, that's liquid oxygen.
Yes, I know. In The Abyss, they actually had an idea.
That was that's a real thing. Liquid oxygen is a real thing.
In The Abyss. What I'm saying is in this one, they didn't bother.
No,
they were just like,
exactly.
No, he could just drown himself. It'll be fine.
And this is why James Cameron is a superior filmmaker than most, because he really doesn't try to completely, like he tries to use suspension of disbelief correctly.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? He never insults us. Like, Annie Wilkes, right? Like Annie Wilkes is fucking stomping all over those movies. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
She's like mad.
That's how I feel like I'm Annie Wilkes every time I watch a movie.
Well, I get my inner Annie Wilkes is like for real, dude. It's like a little Hulk screaming and shouting and banging things around.
I think that's why he created that character, because we all have an Annie Wilkes inside of us that is like, that will not buy into your bullshit. You have to explain things properly. You can't trick your reader or your audience, into believing garbage. What are you looking for?
Well, I was looking to see if we had DiCaprio's deposition here. Hi, Alyssa. Hi, Guilty Angel. Hi, Delicate. Hi, Papa John's. Who's on Twitter? Who's on TikTok? Hello, everyone. So good to see you. We had a great weekend. I hope you had a great weekend. I guess we got to start doing I got to start doing welcome everyone to Too Real Live, just for the editing, at some point. But really glad to see everybody here. Had a great weekend. I hope you.
I don't think
did.
You should do a big intro. No, I think you should just start talking, because I can't stand like I skip through half of them. So when people do a big intro.
So what I'm trying to find out is if we have DiCaprio's, because Justin Baldoni, we all expected, I at least expected, to attend, Blake Lively's deposition.
Okay.
And those two are the principal situations. You could throw in Jamey Heath. You could throw in Jamey Heath for sure. Melissa Nathan, Jennifer Abel, Steve Serawitz, they're all really background.
They're in the periphery.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're associated by business and connection, but not directly.
And not that anyone there has like any good relationship, we'll call it good relationship, or strong, or whatever, a strong foundation with Blake Lively. Like nobody there had that. And I'm bringing that up because in my deposition, or in Leonardo DiCaprio's deposition in my litigation, that was Stutman v. DiCaprio, and then DiCaprio countered us and sued me and RD and everybody else. So in that lawsuit, one one of the advantages of having myself and Artie Robb there was that we knew him pretty well, right? Artie had known him for several years. I'd known him for a couple of years at that point. We'd hung out loads. We were very close friends. So, we could tell when he was being bothered, how, or at least we could at least offer some insight into what we thought was going on.
Did you tell your lawyer, like, hey, he's really bothered by this question, or what?
Multiple times.
And how did you do that when you're not allowed to speak?
During breaks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, we would even, I don't know that
Did
we
you
did
pass
this.
Notes?
We had, I'm sure. You can't tell it wouldn't be in the court reporter's notes, but I do recall passing notes. I don't remember if the notes then led to a break necessarily, but they might have. I don't remember specifically, but we passed notes all the time, for sure. But we were there because we're reading the.
I was just imagining with like a Blake Lively's deposition with like all 6 of them or something, that like notes would get like flying, like it would be like paper paper airplanes shooting at the lawyers the whole time.
Crazy Jamey says, "Hi, Angela and Dale. Hello, good to see you." So
Alyssa said, "Yay, y'all know I love talking about the depositions."
Yeah. So anyway,
so you were wondering about DiCaprio's deposition.
Just to finish off what I was saying. So having Justin Baldoni during and Jamey Heath possibly, very reasonable to have them there to assist Brian Freedman, and not only trying to detect anything that they might see as inconsistent with the truth or the way that she's behaving or whatever, but more importantly, that they can pick up on things that maybe the lawyer wouldn't, perhaps nuances in the answers, or that the lawyer is completely missing a point or getting a point wrong. And this is really important because our attorneys, despite working ridiculous numbers of hours preparing for each deposition, hours I worked with them, they still got their questions fucking wrong. They still boggled up their facts. They still confused and conflated things. And it's no slight on them. They're human beings. It's a part of what makes, being the client important, Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we were there for those reasons. We were there to be able to read the room, namely Leonardo DiCaprio, Tobey Maguire, and other witnesses, but also so that we could see if there are any inconsistencies in either the questions or the answers, or if there were things that were blatantly wrong, including things that we thought were complete lies. And this I can tell you, we gave many instances where we believed one of the witnesses was lying, and then we conferred on that during a lunch or a break, and then they would come at them with questions to try and really expose that lie or weakness.
So you attended every deposition?
I attended every deposition that was not on our side. So I didn't go to RD or David Stutman or John Schindler.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
But so you attended the depositions of Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yes.
Tobey Maguire, Kevin Connolly, Scott Bloom, Ethan Suplee.
Yep.
Who else would it
Artie Glacken.
Artie Glacken.
Yeah.
He was deposed for several
I think
days.
I was there for Jenny Lewis. So I was there for all of the important, what I thought were the important depositions relative to, the story and the truth.
So what was your reason for attending those depositions?
Which, the others?
Any of them.
All for substance, fact. Just for being able to, explain things to the lawyers to help them understand either the depth of the answer that they got, right? So that they can go and create more questions. Each question leads to 3 more,
Yeah.
And it's not so easy to just find those 3 more questions if the lawyers aren't totally if the lawyers aren't in that deep, that many layers deep into our story and our experience and being able to have it, intuitively top of mind. This is the part where, you got to understand the lawyer's not going to have this stuff top of mind. That's impossible to ask them to understand the depth and nuance of all these relationships, whether they're business or personal or both, in a short time leading up to what would be discovery, even a year or whatever, because, a lot of the time you're not spending all that time just learning facts. You're filing motions, you're, attending a lot of court, and, so there's a lot to it. But in So in the Lively Baldoni case, Blake Lively's deposition, it's the first day. Holy fucking shit show. So all the defendants show up. Every single fucking defendant, I guess, except for Wallace, who I don't know if he is a defendant anymore, but his attorney was present.
Uh-huh.
So there's still some, association with the claim.
Yeah. So people are saying that there were, just from the Wayfair party's side, right? So the opposing side from Blake Lively.
Right.
That there were 8 lawyers.
Yes.
And every defendant.
8 lawyers per side.
Yeah.
So 16 attorneys.
16 attorneys in the room.
This is so outrageous. So we had, I'm sure now we can.
I'm sorry, but like, do you think that they are actually in the room, or are they just attending?
No, they're in the room.
Because they have their own room set up so that they can do work, Like they have like opposing counsel's chambers set up for them or whatever.
Well, that's
I don't know what
interesting.
it's called,
That's interesting. I don't know. I can't answer that question. I don't know who was in the room.
Can you imagine if they had 16?
If the court reporter would read off everybody present before beginning.
Right.
So if you read the beginning,
is that why you were looking for DiCaprio's? So we have that on video, but we do not have that in the written transcript.
I'll give you an example here. Let me get me.
Is that a volume 1?
It is.
Okay. Who says it?
This is Tobey Maguire, who I can attest is a motherfucker, by the way. Good morning. The date is January 20th, 1999. The time is approximately 10:28 a.m. We are located at the offices of Greenberg, Glusker, Fields, and Klahman and Mottinger in Los Angeles, California. We are taking the deposition of Tobey Maguire in the matter of David Stutman versus Leonardo DiCaprio for Superior Court of the State of California for the County of Los Angeles. The case number is BC 189400. This deposition is being taken on behalf of the plaintiff. My name is Steve Raymer. I represent Century Court Reporters. Our telephone number is 310-284-9000. At this time, the attorneys should introduce themselves. For the video record, please state your name, your firm you work for, and who you represent in the case. They do so. Would the court reporter please swear in the witness? Oh, they didn't.
So they don't.
They normally did.
They don't transcribe it?
Well, because we hear it.
It's in the recording.
Huh.
That's so weird.
I'm sure it's in one of these. But isn't that weird?
We have some of those videos. So we could probably, cut and play exactly what it sounds like to be in a deposition.
I was going to make a joke because I thought they were going to have to go down. Anyway.
Well, because it's really long and tedious even just that, like that guy is speaking slow enough because he's working with a court reporter that prefers if you speak slowly. So the whole thing takes a long time. And the camera's on the deponent the whole time, the witness, Yeah. And so they're just like, nervous, but then like having to, sit before game time,
In our room, we probably had 3 attorneys on our side. They had the same on theirs, probably. I recall 3. Then we had a court reporter. We had a videographer. Then we had myself. For Leo's deposition, there was myself, Artie Robb, and David Stutman. I can't remember if Jerry was there or not. He might have been. And which would have been all defendants.
I don't believe that Jerry attended the depositions.
I think you're right. So, so it would have been everyone but Jerry Metters otherwise, which would have been me, Stutman, and Rob.
I remember Stutman attending because he shows up late. You guys are there on time, and Stutman shows up late.
So,
but then generally,
and then on his side, and then it was Leo, obviously. So we had like 6. So just to put it in comparison here, we had about 10 to 12 people at Leonardo DiCaprio's deposition.
And so the witness,
they had 22.
Yeah, I know. It's really weird. The witness, right? The deponent, they're not allowed to bring anybody.
Not that isn't directly involved with the case either through representation or by being party to the case. That's the only way you're in the room.
Okay, so like say that Justin
you can't bring
Baldoni.
your ma.
Hang on a second. Say that Justin Baldoni is getting deposed, right? He's the witness getting questioned.
Yes.
Is he allowed to like bring Heath along to like sit there and
Jamey Heath?
Hold his hand?
Jamey Heath can go to every deposition.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yes.
Why did you choose not to go to the depositions on your own side?
Because I did not believe they were going to lie.
Oh, you wanted to catch lies.
100% wanted to know when they were lying, what lies they were saying. You know,
That's
it wasn't like, so, you know, there was like a rumor that Justin Baldoni, I guess, like whatever, had said to somebody that she's going to lie to my face, which is like, she already did, dude. If she lied, she already did.
But that's a rumor.
It's so stupid. But being there and hearing the lies and then understanding how to, and then like offering any insight I could to the attorneys in terms of trying to follow up those lies and catch those lies and trap those lies. That was the trick, you know, that we were after. What's up, TikTok? What's up, YouTube?
Guilty Angel said Stutman and his lipo.
Stutman
That actually
and
featured very prominently in the depositions.
Yeah, it's a funny thing because like some people might read my book and think, oh man, Dale's just being a shit. But I'm not. The David Stutman's liposuction was a major factor in the way that we were being perceived by them. And the funny thing about that was that both RD and I were like upset about it.
Well, yeah, of course.
We were totally upset about it.
Of course. I mean, you can't.
Well, we were at odds.
You
with
can't
him.
have any control over that kind of, reputational.
No.
Tension.
No, absolutely not. So, back to Blake Lively and Baldoni. So they have the deposition. I guess it goes all day. I assume it goes all day. I'm certainly assuming that they didn't get it finished, especially with 22 people in the room. You break and you got to assemble 22 people and disassemble 22 people. It took me 5 minutes to get past Leonardo DiCaprio on one of our breaks. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it can be a shit show. But so I assume that means that they're going to have more than one day is where I'm going there. But here on day one, just a fucking shit show, because I don't think you need all those people. I don't think that, Melissa Nathan has any business being there whatsoever. She has, she does in terms of her legal right to be there. But in terms of like Brian Freedman, who is representing all these people, he's supposed to control the room. He's supposed to control the situation. And he should know not to bring anybody in that room that doesn't need to be in that room.
Also, there's no reason why they couldn't have just watched the deposition remotely from another office.
Or simply had exactly that, or just watched them later. You know, she finished the deposition on Friday. They could have watched it over the weekend and gave them notes, because absolutely nothing that they're going to do, Melissa Nathan, Jennifer Abel, or Steve Serawitz. But okay, throw Steve Serawitz in the room because he's Wayfarer. But those two publicists had no fucking reason to be there except to be a part of the intimidation.
No,
or the potential, like, whatever.
I get
chaos.
that accusation, but I do see that there's value in watching it live as it's happening, so you could advise the lawyers if you catch something that they should be, like, oh, this person's stressed about this answer, or, because you saw some behavioral thing, or they lied about an answer, and so you have to pull that thread and ask more questions. Like, I can imagine not wanting to watch it later. What I don't understand is what I don't understand is not wanting to watch it from the next room. Like, why do they have to be in the same room? That's the weird part.
I can. Both of them are strange to me. Those two women, they're watching the tape over the weekend. They're not going to have anything substantive to add to Blake Lively's deposition, especially day one, is going to be all about the production. It's going to be all about the relationship with Baldoni. It's going to be all about her relationship with Sony. She's absolutely none of the questions coming out of Freedman's mouth is going to have anything to do with Melissa Nathan or Jennifer Abel. Not one fucking question that comes out of Freedman's mouth.
I believe you're wrong about that.
Well, I mean, okay, if there's some,
I think that's why they quoted her deposition in a filing.
Yeah.
It was all redacted, but they uploaded her deposition transcript in order to quote how she said that she didn't have, this is what they're saying. So who knows if Freedman is telling the truth, but apparently she didn't have knowledge of the smear campaign after a certain date. And it's not necessarily her job to know anything. Her attorneys are investigating.
Who are we talking about?
Blake Lively's deposition transcript.
Okay.
So,
it wasn't blacked out?
It was, but he was saying that the reason why he was citing the deposition and why he uploaded the entire document was because he wanted to point out this one thing. He's basically trying to feed Freedman is trying to feed content to his fucking
To
content
Andy Signor.
creators. Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
to his buddy Andy.
But the thing is that it caused a controversy because he uploaded the depositions transcripts aren't finalized as soon as he early enough. Like he posted it right after, and these deposition transcripts have to get revised and they have to get corrected before they go into the record. And so he uploaded a first draft of a transcript.
I mean, it's one of many mistakes that he made there. But, as far as that goes, yeah, I mean, he shouldn't have done that, obviously. But and I think it's better to read. I wasn't there yet, but if you want to just go there, sure. Do you want to read that? So I was like kind of staying in the deposition for a minute.
Yeah, let's do that.
But
I don't know. Whatever, man. Whatever you want to.
But they filed a motion to strike on, I guess, this filing by Freedman, which I'm not clear on. Do you understand the filing by Freedman that they're trying to strike? Do you understand what it is? And
he was trying to make a point about how she said something. It is kind of telling because he made
what's the filing is what I'm sorry.
What is the filing?
Yeah, like what is it? Like I understand a little bit about what he's doing, and we can clarify that too. But I'm trying to understand more about like what is the filing that he what is the thing that she's striking?
I don't know what he's trying to accomplish by putting her entire 290 pages or whatever of transcript up on the docket.
Right.
I don't know exactly what he's trying to accomplish. I know that he's trying to cite Freedman apparently was trying to cite the part where she says that she is unaware of a certain aspect of the smear campaign. And I just thought that was really telling because if there were more things that he could use in her deposition, he would. But there's one thing. And it is so vague and nobody is expecting her to have all the information. And so it's not damning at all.
It's ridiculous.
I know. And so
I don't even understand the conversation.
I think what it means to me is that he has to admit that he doesn't really have much. And this has been the story from the start is that Brian Freedman keeps grasping, he's like, this is information. This is evidence of threats. And there you read it and there's none. And then he was like, oh, well, we have, we suspect that if we continue discovery, we'll find evidence. And then they don't. And then his case gets thrown out because he lacks evidence. And here he's trying to use her words against her and he can't, it's just typical. But I know that the controversy is involving Blake Lively's attorneys filed a motion to, I guess, to remove that from the docket.
To strike, yeah.
To strike it.
It's a motion to strike, and they want all of the redacted. They want the entire. Well, here's the thing, and this is why their accusation. What they're saying is that once again.
Who's they?
Blake Lively's attorneys are once again saying that Brian Freedman is using the court and the court system to put on a PR stunt, because what they want to do is they want to introduce this evidence that Blake Lively will speak up about it so that it will appear detrimentally so to her reputation and to this whole fucking fever that's out there in the public, that it'll make her look like she's trying to hide something.
Of course.
And that couldn't be further from the fucking
Well, and
truth.
we already see that that's exactly how it's being taken by these content creators.
Exactly.
It's wild how they planned it, executed it. It's working perfectly.
It's by design. And so what they're
she's running away from the truth.
So what they're filing is they're saying that this is their intent to do so. This is their intent to mislead the public and to mislead them through using their influencers by saying that she's trying to hide, from, I'm sorry, I completely lost where I was going. My bad.
No, you were saying that Blake Lively's attorney is trying to strike it from the, it's a motion to strike so that her deposition transcript get pulled.
Yeah, so she's calling it.
Well, he told it.
Yeah, I got it.
And he told the judge that the reason why that this is all gamesmanship, that the reason why her deposition is up there is so that they would pull to strike it, and then they can claim that she's afraid of having the truth exposed.
Yeah, it was not only that the stuff is moot, but also that the fact that it is moot is the main point here, because all of the fucking defendants were there. There was no reason to publish everything that was said because everything was they were there for it. They were literally live when it happened. So
I don't understand. Why would
this filing, because this was a filing that Freedman did. It wasn't like a motion. It was some kind of filing, right? But the problem is that it gets on the docket. The filing gets pushed to the docket. And I don't know if maybe somebody can help us, like you keep doing this, because I'm not exactly sure what specifically the...
would you like me to read this letter?
The term is, before you do, I'm not sure what specifically the term is, but whatever the filing is, it shows up on the docket. So he knows that they're going to go, all the hounds, right, are going to go to that meet, and they're going to try to bite into it for everything that they can get out of it. So offering the redactions and then offering his little snide comments that would be about whatever the filing is for. In this case, it was about something all this stuff you just talked about that was nonsensical to me. On their behalf, not what you said.
See, it's difficult. It's difficult to understand this, like, I guess they call it like lawfare, like warfare, but lawyers duking it out. Because none of this has anything to do with the claims in the case. And that's where I feel very confident talking about this lawsuit. But when it's just like lawyers trying to pull a fast one on another lawyer and then them like trying to outsmart them and all these filings in the docket, it's difficult to cover because I don't really understand where the controversy is. And sometimes I don't understand why somebody is trying something. Like, for instance, okay, you're the only person I know that has been in a deposition and has attended a deposition. So you've been a witness who's deposed, and you've also seen a bunch of other depositions. So when there's this controversy online today that all of these, the Wayfarer parties attended Blake Lively's deposition, I'm like, well, why is that a big deal?
Right.
Like, they're entitled to. They're parties in the case.
Sure.
So I'm not sure why everybody is acting like it's this, like, huge explosive
It's
choice.
not.
Like that they came in there with, like, like a big army and intending to intimidate her. And I'm sure that was part of their plan, right? Because we're talking about who we're talking about.
Well, they're going to be puffy chest.
But there's nothing limiting them. And they notified her ahead of time because that was already ruled on by the judge. So it's not like they surprised her. Like, she knew ahead of time who was going to be there.
Everybody knew. That's why they had 8 lawyers per side, because
So
they
it makes
already
me-
knew that they were walking the door with 8 lawyers. There were
Right.
5 defendants with 8 lawyers. By the way, that insurance company is like, go fuck yourself. 8 fucking lawyers. 8 lawyers. Do you know what that costs?
The cost.
Do you know what that costs?
I know.
That's a whole day. 8 lawyers at one of the
That-
biggest fucking highest priced firms in the fucking
Every
world.
one of those lawyers had their entire calendar for the day blocked out and paid for. That's a lot of money.
Dude.
I wonder if
That's
Steve Serawitz like walked in and just saw that the whole place is just being paid for by him.
By the way, it's Blake Lively, it's Justin Baldoni has to pay for everything. So he's got to pay for the court reporters, but he's also got to pay potentially, well, maybe not. He's got to pay for everything. He's got to pay for the court reporters. He's got to pay for the videographer. He's got to pay for all of it. It's all out of their pocket. So that whole day is on them. That's how this works.
Why?
That's how it
Because
works.
it's their deposition.
It's their deposition.
Got it.
Yeah.
Right. So my point was that you're like my little expert in my pocket, and I get to
Why little?
I get to because you're an expert on some things that are very like choice things in this case.
Yes.
And so I get to like rely on you to explain some of these things. And I honestly don't know why everybody's having a freak out.
About that, well, just
About them attending this
on the
deposition.
Lively side of things.
Yes.
Because they want to like make it out to be. Well, let me be clear about my view on this because I'm it's not so cut and dry. I don't think it's comparable to mine in that with ours, we had reasons to be there. I don't think that Melissa Nathan or Jennifer Abel should have been in that room. I think that Brian Freedman knew that. I think Brian Freedman tried to stack the room with intimidating type atmosphere, because also it's different. It's a little bit different if you have each of them being represented by different attorneys. So each attorney would have a different relationship with that client in terms of why they may or may not advise them to come along to the deposition, to that specific deposition, right? But that Brian Freedman represents all of them jointly, which is in itself fucking strange. But because they do, and also, by the way, just to regress into that whole insurance question, if he's representing everybody jointly, who's paying the bill then? Like if I was the insurance company, I'd be like, well, I'm not paying for you billing on Nathan or Abel. What the fuck you mean, bro?
Yeah.
And how are you separating them? Where's the wall between
right.
the billing on them and us if you're the insurance company?
No, that's right. Yeah.
Back to my point. He represents all of these defendants, the relevant parties to that deposition. And this is the thing that's true about probably most litigations, is that not every single witness is going to have a relationship with the deponent. Not every single party necessarily is going to have a relationship with the deponent. Some of these deponents aren't even going to necessarily have any memory of having contact with some of these people directly, because you're getting deeper into the weeds, right? But even on the primary witness side of things, again, I'll repeat it because it's worth repeating. Melissa Nathan and Jennifer Abel had no fucking reason to be there. So why did you bring them into the room? And by the way, when you bring those people into the room and you add 8 attorneys.
That's so many.
You're creating chaos.
I know.
You are. You're creating chaos. You're trying to create intimidation. And here's something that I'll just say that maybe they picked up on, or maybe they don't. I've often been a little critical about how Blake Lively has a propensity for putting her foot in her mouth. For whatever reason, she will put together phrases that are just easily able. I do the same thing, frankly.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. If we ever if this podcast ever becomes something of note,
oh my God,
people are just will probably be canceled within a week.
I know, it keeps me awake at night.
All I do is put my foot in my mouth. I put my foot in my mouth every other live.
Yeah.
But Blake Lively, she's on a bigger stage and she has a lot more at stake, and they're also really relevant to some very serious and pertinent topics, things like women's rights, inequality, whatever it might be. So it's a bit of a messy situation. So maybe they were picking up on that. Maybe Freedman was like, hey.
I don't think that she had a hard time at all during her deposition.
I don't think she did at all.
Staying really on point with everything, right? Only giving the absolutely requested information and nothing extra. Do you want to hear some about this? So the filing to. So
why don't we read for everyone their response? So this would be Lively's attorneys asking the court to strike.
Yeah.
Because I think that pretty much sums it up.
So Lively's being represented in part by Ezra Hudson.
Yes.
And this letter is by her asking the court to strike the transcript from the docket. Okay?
Yes.
She writes, the transcript was ostensibly filed in support of their argument that there's no basis to assert that Brian Freedman or his firm have participated in, fueled, and advanced a smear campaign against Miss Lively, and that their conduct has amounted to public relations work rather than that of an attorney. That's a quote. But in fact, this tactic perfectly demonstrates the counsel as PR agent role, because there's no conceivable legal purpose to file the whole transcript, particularly given that it has not been reviewed, corrected, or finalized, and a mere 2 pages of it were cited in their arguments. The letter and the attachment should be seen for what they are, a manufactured excuse to force the transcript into the public domain as fodder for the Wayfarer defendants' media campaign. It is surely not lost on the Wayfarer defendants that, given the pending motion to seal, the burden is on Miss Lively to file a letter motion explaining the particular reasons for seeking to keep any of the 292 pages of the transcript under seal. The Wayfarer defendants and their counsel hope to make Miss Lively defend the continued sealing of the transcript so they can advance a false narrative that Miss Lively is afraid of her deposition testimony becoming public, which is entirely untrue and deeply harmful. Ms. Lively affirmatively pursued this litigation with the full intention and desire to have her testimony heard in a legal process governed by the rules of evidence, which publicly filing this rough draft transcript in this manner substantially undermines.
And by the way, this is we have these people who show up here and they shout this nonsense that's specific to what he's saying. Literally, they're little soldiers Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
Sorry, let me just reread that last sentence. Miss Lively affirmatively pursued this litigation with the full intention and desire to have her testimony heard in a legal process governed by the rules of evidence, which publicly filing this rough draft transcript in this manner substantially undermines. To suggest otherwise is part of an ongoing character attack that Mr. Freedman has been advancing to undermine Miss Lively's credibility and taint the jury pool. That is not a proper use of confidential discovery material or this court's docket.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah, I know.
Couldn't agree more. But there you go. There it is in a well-written brief. They're playing fucking games, and they're doing it with her testimony, and they're doing it for the purposes of continuing to fuel their fire. And what's wild about this is that they're not going to stop until the final day of this trial. And I think they already know that they're in a nosedive. I think this is kamikaze all the way. It's so funny. There was a poster, which, this poster who claimed to be an attorney was on the Baldoni files reviewing this. And this attorney said so many things I disagree with. I couldn't believe it. Like, first of all, that it was like highly unethical for him to bring all these people. It's fucked up to not have more control over the room, to not respect the process a little more than he did. But, he's also exercising his client's rights. He's exercising his client's rights. Also, she was notified about everybody that was going to be there in advance. I don't feel like it's this huge. It's not. Yeah, it's like a dick move, but that's all it is. It's like, right. It's not super improper, and it's not some scandalous thing that we should all be clutching our pearls over. It's just like, depositions suck. Yes, you have to face they're intimidating no matter who the fuck is in the room. You have to face your defendant, your opponent in court, like in every stage of the process. It's like, it's lame. By the way, arguably it's a mistake. And here's why. Mm-hmm. Wouldn't you want her comfortable? If she's the liar, you're accusing her of being, if she's this person who's made up this whole thing, she's just trying to ruin your life, and she's trying to turn you into this big, horrible thing, then why wouldn't you let her get real comfortable? What they used to do is not in depositions, but you get your enemy a little drunk, and get them spilling the beans. We were talking about this last week about this choice for him to attend her deposition, and I was thinking that if you can do something to make your opponent on the back foot, if you can make them defensive, if you can make them a little off center and uncomfortable, then you take that opportunity no matter what it is, right? As long as it's obviously allowed. Yes. But your tactic, that's interesting that you would do the opposite, where you'd be like, no, absolutely, have a very comfortable seat. Can I give you something nice to drink, or make them super comfortable? Miss Lively, her, because I know this gets Miss Lively, I know that this gets messy out in the public. That's just the facade of this all. Don't worry, here we're your friends. We all have to deal with this shitty press, and we just do the best we can. No, it's absolutely like a good cop, bad cop type manipulation. Yeah. Right? Where the good cop plays the good cop specifically to solicit more information. Yeah. Mandy's here. Hi, Mandy. It's so good to see you. Great to see you. Good evening. You keep doing this. His had to bow out. I hope I didn't miss you before saying goodnight, but I probably did. Good night, nonetheless. So yeah, it's an interesting scenario. These guys just don't stop making themselves look bad in the eyes of the law. And here's the thing, honestly, I don't really give a shit about, all their fucking horn blowing losers. They're losers. These people are the biggest losers. Who's these people? Sassy Dave Navarro, Candace Owens, Andy Signor is a big lying loser. Yeah. In my opinion, and this is all for entertainment purposes only, because he's also litigious. He's gonna sue Blake Lively. These guys are all just leeches. It's disgusting. Honestly, I will be happy with 43 people. We have 70, 75 people between two platforms right now, hanging out with us right now. I'm happier with that, not selling my fucking soul to the devil, than I would be with thousands upon thousands of people and playing the kind of games that these kind of losers are playing with somebody else's life. In my call with Andy Signor, calling him out for all this shit, I just kept shouting at him, why are you ruining this woman's life, Andy? Why? I want to know why you, Andy Signor, who has no fucking business in this matter, is trying to ruin this woman's life. And he couldn't, of course, come up with a good answer, except he said, she's like Tobey Maguire. That was his fucking answer. He doesn't even know Tobey Maguire. The fuck does he know about Tobey Maguire?
I typically don't like the word loser because I feel like it's just kind of weak sauce. Like there's so many better things to.
Well, give me one that's better
No,
than.
I know,
You're
but
the
listen,
editor. Let's go.
Okay, listen. And it's normally really weak sauce, and like people can always do better than like calling somebody a loser. But what's really funny about calling these people a loser is they're supporting a guy who's literally losing. All the time he's losing. Like he's racking up so many L's upon L's. He's getting sued by his insurance company most recently because he lied to them.
Yeah.
Because he's too stupid to do business properly. It's like the easiest thing to do. Like the insurance company is like, hey, did anybody complain about your business in the last year that might result in some litigation? And they were like, no, of course not. Nothing bad happened at all. Meanwhile, he's got in his very own documents that he submitted to court, Justin Baldoni admits. This is what it's amazing that these people don't read. He catalogs all the times that Blake Lively complained. In his court documents, he minimizes it, right? He says that like, oh, she shouldn't have, or, she was being too sensitive. And he also says like, oh, well, we apologize like 3 times for that.
We said sorry.
She really just needed to get over it.
We said
but
sorry.
But he still catalogs
sorry.
every single time that this employee is complaining to her employers about some workplace misconduct. And that's absolutely the sort of thing that the insurance company asked him about. And then they were just like, no, nothing like that ever happened. Well, you're lying and you fucking told the court so. And so now you're going to lose your coverage and you're going to have to pay $100 million, I guess.
Like you promised.
To bury everybody.
Leo Edits is asking if we still read TikTok chat. And we do.
We do, yes. I haven't been into it either.
Why don't we do some chat stuff now? It seems that we should probably catch up with our friends.
But you're right, Dale. They are losers.
They're losers.
And they're going to keep losing. And that's the thing. That's why they're crying so hard. And that's why they're like yelling at everybody because they're fucking losing.
I actually like that you say that because like losers is not a word that I would use frequently on anybody, on anything.
Because there's nothing wrong with losing. There's
Agreed.
nothing wrong with losing. It's what's weird is that this guy does not stop. Like he should have Justin Baldoni should have recognized a very long time ago that this was not a winning game.
Right.
And that this is the sort of thing that you should really just take your licks and admit that you did something wrong.
Yeah.
And maybe negotiate how much you admit and how much you can actually get away with not admitting. If Steve Serawitz had instead of spending $100 million to bury Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds for reasons nobody's been able to articulate, if he had instead just bought the best mediation services in the state, which would have cost a fraction of that.
Yeah.
We wouldn't be having this conversation. Nobody would be involved in this. Everybody would have moved on with their life. Justin Baldoni would be releasing his fucking Pac-Man movie or whatever the fuck was happening to him next.
His next
he'd be able to
masterpiece.
Yeah, he'd be like, high on the hog and getting more rich someplace instead of all this bullshit. It's like
being restricted. Did you say something?
I'm sure.
I'm about to get another pop-up to tell me that I'm a bad person. Let's see where it comes. And I'm going to get the captcha any minute. My goodness. Yeah, so let's check out the TikTok chat and see what's going on there.
Crazy GMA is asking if it was at the end of the transcript where I think it might be at the back of the transcript. Why don't you grab that deposition again? It might have everybody listed.
I'm surprised that they don't because you would think legally they would need to.
That's not the one. You grabbed it from the top.
Okay, yeah, I got it right here. Hello? Ah, fuck, man. Play with these goddamn things. This to drive me crazy. I wonder why this is so thin. Did he do a half day? What the fuck happened here?
No, they have so your side and their side have different transcriptions. It's really weird. Like you guys took it to a different printer or something. But their side has like columns. You're in the index.
I know what an index is.
Okay.
I was actually I
think
found
in
them
the
very
end.
They were very
It might
curious.
be in yours then. So pick somebody from your side, and I think in the end they have it all listed about who the contacts were. I don't know if it's actually transcribed about who is in attendance in the deposition, but it definitely has like who to contact about each one of the deponents.
This is so interesting because like this is in
This is in
1990 whatever, but this index has like like word counts and stuff. So it tells you like, and it tells you like where on what page.
Can we stay focused
like
on
a regular
this
index
question? I want to see if there's a. Can you grab one of your side's depositions?
Get
one with a binding instead of
Stutman?
those other ones. Get one with the blue binding because those other ones are falling apart.
What do you mean, like me or RD or somebody?
Yes, there's one with a blue binding.
I don't see blue. These you mean?
Yep, that one.
Does it matter what volume?
No. If you look in the back, I think maybe they have.
They got some nice ass binding, huh?
Those are the ones that don't fall apart.
This is like we had to sign these. These are these have like signatures, but
Okay,
Artie didn't sign his. But it's not here.
Leo Edits is asking, what happened to the women of Don's Plum in the depositions?
I'm sorry, ask that question again.
Leo Edits is asking, what happened to the women of Don's Plum in the depositions?
Well, I mean, they got deposed. I don't understand the question. They were, they were asked questions about their experience with Don's Plum. I thought that their depositions went really well for us for the most part.
But they weren't like central to the case, right?
No, exactly. They weren't. There was one thing that, like Jenny Lewis, for example, said she thought she was shooting a short film. Is an interesting moment that I didn't actually see coming. But not that she would have thought that we were necessarily shooting one thing or another, but I don't know why she thought it was a shortness, Well, whatever. Anyway.
Leo Edits is asking, what happened to you and Bethany Ashton? I liked your other movie.
Oh, man, that's a tough question for me. What happened to me and Bethany Ashton, huh? Well, she broke my heart, Dude, that girl turned on us in the worst possible way. And it was just it was a terrible sort of situation. I didn't dwell on any of my issues with her in the book, and I'm really not going to dwell on them at all in life because she's not, central to any of my, goings-ons. But I was very disappointed in her. She knew bloody well what was going on, and she kind of lied,
You keep doing this as I think that we've got an answer for the question about why Brian Freedman was trying to post that transcript.
By the way, when I say she kind of lied, I'll say this. I want to clarify that, particularly if she ends up seeing this. She said some things that I felt were completely untrue, and when she said them, they felt deliberately untrue to me. I can't attest to what she actually intended to do with her testimony. But I remember Bethany Ashton specifically saying things that I felt were not only untrue, but deliberately so.
That's lame.
Just to clarify. I can't know what she actually, knew or anything like that. So I don't know what her intent was.
Do you want to hear from the chat some more?
Please.
You Keep Doing This was answering our questions about why Brian Freedman wanted to post that.
Okay, yeah.
According to You Keep Doing This, the thinking is that the same reason that he had filed letters and other things, he wants the public to seize on it.
Yeah.
It is totally unethical. He's not really managing a case. He's managing publicity.
Yeah. It's the funny thing is that I've been saying this since really the very fucking beginning of this case. As soon as I saw the bullshit they were putting out, I was like, this is a PR stunt. This isn't what lawyers would do. And it's funny because I think You Keep Doing This was with us then. And she was like, she was highly complimentary to me because I was like all over this, like white on rice. As soon as it happened, I was like, these motherfuckers aren't playing a legal game. They're playing the PR game. Anyway. Very true.
Young is asking, in the Usual Suspects, a character gets a cigarette flicked in his eye. Was Leo inspired by that?
I wonder, that's a very interesting.
Considering that movie was released around the time Don's Plum was filmed.
Yeah, it was not only released, it was a a godlike movie to us all. I mean, we worship that movie.
It's massive.
So that's very interesting. I hadn't thought about it at the time. I don't know. People, by the way, just for people who are with us and don't know what the fuck Young is talking about, Young is a good friend to the live, and he is talking about in my book, I describe a moment when we're shooting Don's Plum where Leo gets into a confrontation with our boom operator, and he ends up flicking his cigarette at the boom operator right at his face, but he misses his face, thank the gods, hits his shoulder instead. big like explosion, but there's all this fucking drama all about it. Like the set, like, oh, what the fuck? I don't know exactly what happened. There was some kind of exchange between the two of them, but it was a really, really dumb move by Leo because
Yeah, of course.
that thing hits him in the eye and it's
Yeah.
fucking game over, pal.
Yeah, you could have sued him for everything.
For sure. But yeah, that's very possible because Leo, dude, and every one of us, I mean, we all did this, right? Which is like, you mimic your, the pop culture of the time, you know what I mean? Whatever it was. So it's entirely possible that gesture was inspired by, something he had seen in that movie. Bryan Singer, bro. It was so weird to get to know Bryan Singer a little bit later because David Stutman became friends with him. And he ended up, Bryan Singer, introducing me to Brad Renfro, with whom I formed a very close relationship for as sort of brief as it was. But it was just interesting because it was like, Bryan Singer was this, kind of like, I kind of worshipped him a little bit,
Yeah.
And when I met him, I was like, fuck is this guy?
Yeah.
He's still a great filmmaker despite his reputational problems or challenges.
What was next on your plan to talk about tonight?
Oh yeah, let me go to the thumbnail and get suited up with it. Anyway, what a fucking crazy. So that's the Baldoni Lively update. Basically, is that all we got? Is that the whole thing?
Mm-hmm.
Is there any word about when Blake Lively is going to come back, or is that just not what's up?
No word.
How about that? P. Diddy was denied bail. So this is a very interesting situation because the White House said that they had been watching and were monitoring closely and speaking with Diddy's attorneys, and that Donald Trump was considering pardoning Diddy, and that he was going to wait until this bail hearing.
I just want people to know, I don't know if anybody who's with us is very young. Okay. But this is so fucking abnormal. Never before in the history of this country has there been a president who talks so openly about pardons, period. But who's like really interested in celebrity lawsuits.
Well, he's a celebrity.
Crimes.
He was a celebrity before he was anything else.
I know. It's just like, it's such a reality TV presidency. It's just like mind boggling. Like if you're over the age of 20, you know how like absolutely nuts this is.
So let me finish. So yeah, where was I? He said he was going to wait and see the outcome of the bail hearing. And if the bail hearing, if Diddy was denied bail, he said he was going to decide sooner than later. If Diddy was granted bail, then he wouldn't decide on a part until after he heard the sentence, which meant that he was literally trying to tell the judge what to do. Like that's what that means. That's very specifically, he's trying to send out a message because that's how he does. He runs the country in his whole life through fucking Twitter and Truth and whatever else. So he puts this bullshit out.
Yeah.
By the way, I mean, how can you not know that he's a fucking bullshitting liar? He created Truth Social. Like, you don't create that if you're a truth sayer. Absolutely nobody who's a truth sayer is going to create something called the truth. They just live it. It's like Leo calling himself an environmentalist. He has to, because he's on a fucking yacht with fucking, Jeff Bezos and his wife right now as we speak.
I just feel like going and lying down whenever we talk about this. It's just so weird.
Well, I mean, I'm sorry. I'm just telling the stories that are out there. I mean, Diddy's a story.
So he got denied bail.
I'm sorry to drag you down.
I'm saying, so we have the predator, right?
Yeah.
Who we know is a predator.
Yeah.
He's staying in prison for now. That's good.
He's in jail. The judge is not letting him out of jail. And the prosecutor, prior to asking the judge not to let him out, also said, we want him put away for a while for this. And I said that if the judge is not corrupt to some level on this, then it might be that the judge might look at this as an opportunity to say the same way that they got like Al Capone on RICO, right? That they're like, hey, we can't get you for, pew pew, but we can get you for doing this thing and we're going to give you the max.
Right.
So it isn't impossible that the judge is considering giving him a very hefty sentence. But also what's really kind of cool about this, and while it kind of drags you down, and I don't blame you for being dragged down by it, what's kind of good about it, in my opinion, is that if Donald Trump has trouble, with this Epstein stuff. If
Yep.
he like takes another guy who's seriously a predator, who everyone knows and believes to be a predator, who by the way, his the person known as, I guess, victim number 3, I think that's how they labeled the victims in this trial. I can't remember exactly, but his third victim, who was on, who was part of the trial, petitioned for his bail, and she wrote a letter to the judge saying that Diddy has changed his ways and that she thinks he should be freed on bail.
So she's scared.
And her name is, she's scared. This is it. Like, I think the judge sees that and says she's fucking terrified. That is like, to me, that was like not a letter of support for Diddy.
No, of
that was a
course
cry
not.
for fucking help.
Nobody would ever say that about their assailant.
No. Right?
There's no evidence that he's changed his tune.
In a fucking couple of weeks.
He never spoke for himself during the entire trial. There's no evidence whatsoever.
So, and so the whole thing is like really quite interesting and messy.
Yeah.
Diddy is still behind bars for the moment. It is expected that if you believe what was coming out of the White House a week ago, that Donald Trump is going to do something about it. Presumably, he's going to.
He will do whatever is advantageous for him in order to change the narrative in the press, because that's all that he cares
I
about.
wonder if this is going to change like DA's strategy now, and they're going to try to get like even the feds are going to try to get them on state charges in case they get a corrupt president who's just like letting the crimers go, because like, do you know what I'm saying? Like,
I wonder,
maybe they're going to start like dual prosecuting state, federal at the same time.
I wonder if that's something they have to keep in mind, because everything's corrupt now.
It's crazy.
I mean, it probably always is, but
it's pretty next level. I mean, this is obviously next level. So that's the Diddy update. He is still behind bars. Is not going to get out anytime soon unless Donald Trump does something about it. By anytime soon, I mean that's not necessarily true. It could be that by October he's getting time served. By the way, that's the other side of the coin on this, is that the judge could be just keeping him in there to get his time served.
October is his sentencing?
But probably not. October, I think, 3rd or 31st. I can't remember, but it's like, could be Halloween. I don't know. But that dude is...
That's a long way away. I'm surprised it's not September or this month.
I'm going to save my our upbeat story for the last story that we cover. So
you have an upbeat story?
Well, you have one, but yeah, we're going to get to it.
I have an upbeat story?
Yeah, I'll tell you about it when I'll get you triggered.
That's good, because everything's terrible. So it's good if we have an upbeat story.
So there's this Sydney Sweeney controversy most people saw about this blue jeans commercial she did for American Eagle.
I was like, is she in debt or something? Like, what is she doing?
Yeah.
She could be, she's nominated, right? Like, she could be a massive star. But she's doing these like fucking weird ads.
So the ad was weird.
Somebody was saying like you should be doing like Dior, like perfume ads, like handbags, like
American Eagle. Weird.
She's also doing like some clothing company, or like I guess they do like housewares or something. Hey Dude, I've never even heard of them before. I have no idea what is going on with her career. You know what's super weird is that she's getting these bookings. So obviously she has publicists that are working for her, but these publicists are not actually that interested in helping preserve her reputation. So she is getting bookings, getting paid. Her publicists are getting paid.
Yeah.
But somehow they're really compromising her public reputation. Like,
I mean, again,
how weird is that?
Well, the question I guess that I have is whether,
and they're not managing the fallout from it either.
No, the question I have for it is like, was there really like an intent to sort of write this subliminal sort of supreme gene fucking ad? Like,
yes,
was there, or were they really just going like,
she got cast, but the ad copy was written deliberately?
You think so?
Yes.
Okay, fair enough. It gets worse for her then, because she puts out this ad, and she's a part of this ad, so she can feign ignorance, I suppose, but
no, it's true. Like, she should have showed up and been like, that's weird.
That's weird. I don't know if I want to talk about genetics when it comes to genes.
You want me to say that?
Yeah. So then it comes out later, right? So the whole controversy blows up, and then it comes out later that she is a Republican. This just came out, I guess, like the day or two ago. She registered in the state of Florida in 2024, and she voted Republican. She's a Donald Trump supporter. So that means, of course, that the fucking big mouth has to get in. So he's now swooning all over her. He is...
I'm so fucking sick of this.
He's putting it out there. He loves the ad. The ad's brilliant. She's brilliant. Well, I guess she has a show coming out, or, whatever, I forget what it's called. She's on the red carpet the other day. She gets heckled by a fan. See what I mean? It's just so weird.
Her publicists need to be fired.
Fuck.
She needs to hire
What a
Crisis PR
wreck.
to fix this.
What a wreck.
I don't know how somebody can creatively repair this, but she got dragged into something, and they should have been able to see what was happening before it happened.
Well,
This
she's getting
poor lady is
knocked around.
You know what sucks though is that she is just about to come out with a bio film that she was in of this really amazing story. I can't remember the lady's name right now, but she's a boxer who survived horrific violence in her life, and she has an amazing. I actually I got her memoir, but I can't remember her name. Anyway, Sydney Sweeney just played her, and she put on a bunch of muscle, and she played a boxer, and she's apparently amazing in it. She's an amazing actor. But all of that is going to be compromised now because her fucking publicist gave her, her fucking agents booked her on the shit and they got her in all this mess and aren't doing anything to get her out of it.
CC says, agrees with you about it feeling deliberate, that she's, and now coming out with the Republican thing. So she comes out with this, that she's a Republican. That's the major fallout now, because because the problem is that if you can be an old school Republican, right? An old school conservative. And I have so much empathy for them because they just want to identify with the what they thought were the real Republican or conservative values, fiscal responsibility, et cetera. It's a so-called fiscal responsibility. We don't have to argue about that, right? It doesn't matter that politically there's a left and a right that is a perfectly acceptable left and a right where you're quibbling and squabbling over various things, but you're not there's no deliberate attempt at destroying institutions and lives, right? Those people exist, and I empathize with those people. I deeply empathize with them because I actually wouldn't mind the opportunity. I wish we lived in a world where people could go left and right politically freely and choose better candidates as a result, instead of it just being you're going to vote for whatever you get. Because that's what we've got in this country. It's two parties divided. It's two different countries. You might as well call this two different countries. Right now, they call it the United States. Before, they called it the North and the South. Here, now, it's the red and the blue. And that's just the way it is.
I'm not on board with this at all. I don't see it that way at all.
Well, this is my view.
No, I know. This is the prevailing view. I think that this is on purpose. I don't know.
No. They created the divide, if that's what you're saying. For sure, they did.
It's not a conspiracy theory. Hang on. Let me just clarify.
Of course.
It's definitely I'm 100% focused on who is beside me in the working class.
Right.
And that's who I'm aligned with. So all the rest of the shit is culture war stuff, and it's meant to divide the working class.
Sure.
So I see it very narrowly that way.
Yeah.
Who is my my brothers in arms in the working class against our corporate overlords who are trying to destroy any wonderful way of life we might achieve for ourselves. And so I don't give a fuck that Sydney Sweeney is a Republican because she's not in my class anyway.
Yeah, it's totally fine. I don't give a fuck either, but it didn't help her because
I'm not punching laterally ever, right?
But where I'm going with this,
I'm punching up.
But
always.
I was going somewhere, which is that this party, there was my empathy to those out there who just want to be conservatives as they understood them to be, things like fiscal responsibility and so on, small government.
Yeah.
This kind of an idea versus what it has become, which is an extreme racist organization. I mean, it's a racist organization. There's little doubt about it. I mean, it's the writing's on the bloody wall. I mean, literally, the guy in the White House is a bona fide racist. I mean, I just don't think anyone would argue that actually has looked into it long enough. And so,
but you understand too that
when you have that exposure, though, here's the thing: is if you identify with that look, man, in 2024, if you're a woman in the public eye, especially in entertainment, which is a left-leaning, that's a left-leaning world.
Yeah.
If you're going to go out there and register as a Republican, and then you're going to go get yourself dipping into these ads and getting yourself into these situations where you're creating controversy around yourself, expect the rain to fall.
Yeah,
where there are clouds, rain is going to fall.
It's not a good business move, but you're never going to be able to convince me that any of this shit matters. Just because, like,
I mean, I'm not trying to.
Like racism and the rightful, confrontation of racism is all a tool of distraction. Like, yes, we need to confront racism, but we have to recognize it for what it is, which is a tool of division.
Yeah, but you're talking about the highest level of it, where it exists.
I'm just talking
where
about
people live with it.
I'm talking about the class war.
Yeah,
and that's the way that it's the.
But you're talking about it as an execution.
That's how I see everything.
But you're talking about like it as an execution, like as a device. Where it exists, where people are actually at war with it.
Right.
People believe in it. They've bought into it. They're drinking the Kool-Aid.
And I just feel like as soon as you can get people to recognize that they're being manipulated with that. Yeah. Then oftentimes they'll drop it and they'll see who their real enemies are. And I think that that's the most important thing that we could do.
We can hope for it.
Yeah.
But
like arguing about television ads where rich people are getting other rich people to say stuff and make money to get themselves more rich, like, I don't give a fuck.
Well, the problem with it is that we're in a situation where there are a lot of people who think that what's going on is like a fascist takeover of a democracy.
It's
and
true.
One of the parts of a fascist dictator takeover, a fascist takeover of a democracy that the past has shown, and this is like not just
culture war shit.
It
That's
was
right.
this culture war
Yep.
where they put this stuff up. They propagandize. They do it in ways that, like, they started it with in Germany when they were like characterizing the emphasizing the nose and all these like features that they turned into Jewish features. And they used this as propaganda to turn people against others. So we have this awareness from our past. That's not just Nazi Germany, by the way. This has gone on in other genocides as well, or attempts at such. And so you have this like idea of like demonizing the people that you want to get out. But the really disturbing side of it is also to like put yourself into like some kind of genetically superior place. And that's where her ad got everyone disturbed, where the dirt, where it stirred up the dirt. And
but see how
if there wasn't another one that just came out right after that,
yeah, I know.
If there wasn't this white dude talking about his superior genes that gave him his golden tan,
yeah, I know.
Oh my God, bro! Like that's to me is scary shit. I don't care who you are.
It's all fucking fake. Like, the belief in a superior race is fucking fake. These people are idiots. They don't know what they're talking about. It's basically,
of course we know that, but
it's basically like they're afraid of differences in the world, that they're scared people, and so they've decided that they have to feel more powerful by making up some arbitrary thing that makes them stronger.
Of course, it's so sad.
So what I'm saying is, like, I can't genuinely feel fearful about people who are just being fucking dumb. Like, these aren't our real problems. Our real problems are not the things that are dividing us among, me and my neighbors and you and somebody you decide to judge for the color of their skin or fucking whatever,
Yeah.
Like, I'm keeping my eye on the prize, which is, like, we have to know who's actually
keeping my eye on the prize,
responsible for our hardships, And it's not fucking Sydney Sweeney or whoever wrote that dumb fuck ad, I don't care about those people.
I completely understand where you're coming from. I think you got the right perspective on it. But look, it's in the news. I'm going to cover it because it's kind of a big deal in a few in a few ways. But what
I like it as an opportunity to talk about this other shit too.
That she's getting heckled is like an interesting thing for me, because it's like, look, man, you're going to pay the piper if you're going to get on the fucking, the bad side of this shit.
Well, she's made some really, really weird career choices, and she's going to find out exactly how weird those are. It's unfortunate that she's done that, because she had a really, really great career, and now it's going to be fucking weird. And she has nobody to blame but herself and the people that she pays to help her out.
You know what always blows my mind? When, like when you see somebody's face, like, Smokey Robinson is a perfect example. So, like, how like you can see somebody's face and either first impression, or that you've seen them in sort of a celebrity state or whatever for many, many years, but how like you regard them as kind, you regard them as like nice or whatever, kindred spirits. Like that's what Smokey Robinson was. These allegations have come out, and every time I see him now, I just see this evil, evil creature. I'm looking at my thumbnail for today because it's got my stories that I'm talking about, and I just look at these people and like they would all be normal looking people if I didn't know what I know about them. So they're staring back at me. I'm like, man, you motherfuckers are evil. But the truth is like if somebody, if the proof was overwhelming that they were like really good people and fought for the kinds of things that I believe in, equality and cool shit, and quality of life for everybody, I wouldn't see them in this way. It's so weird that when you cast somebody in a light, how it like almost changes the shape of their face. It's like the lighting literally changes.
I think one of the reasons why it's so, I feel like it's so awful what Justin Baldoni did when he exposed his own behavior in his filings, like when he talks about how she complained very reasonably about things that Baldoni and Heath had done in the workplace, and then they minimized it. Like, this is how he presents his evidence, is to say like, oh, well, she's making a big deal out of it. It wasn't a big deal. Like, you're the employer. Yes, it is a big deal. You're the boss, so you shouldn't be acting this way. It's a big deal when your employee complains about it. Like, that is exactly the reason why I've judged him. And now he's no longer I can't see him as the person he claimed to be, because his man enough persona and that TED Talk persona that he put on cannot be the same guy who told the story in those court filings, his own story.
Yeah. I mean, you're supposed to whisper that. You're supposed to keep that to yourself. It's your own little problem.
You're not supposed to be a fucking duplicitous shithead.
No.
You know what I mean? Like,
no.
It's not that you're not supposed to whisper it. You're supposed to conduct
I'm saying
yourself.
If you feel that way,
yeah,
don't fucking speak it into existence, you fool.
I know.
Like, if you feel that way, you just got to deal with it. It's your cancer. You got to deal with it. Do you know what I mean? I'm sorry for you. But you don't fucking speak it. Do you know who Skydance is?
Who? Skydance?
Yeah, do you know what Skydance is?
No.
Skydance is the entity that wanted Donald Trump's FCC to approve an $8+ billion deal for the purchase and acquisition of Paramount Plus, Paramount Studios, and all of its assets. Skydance being the suitor to grab this tremendous, iconic Hollywood empire in Paramount. Okay. And then we know that there was all this fucking heat between Colbert and Trump, and then Colbert gets fired, and they canceled the show.
Okay.
And it's over. So everybody's screaming about that. A lot of like you were here. We covered some of this. You've heard all about it. A lot of fucking, caused a lot of trouble, a lot of controversy, and now. Before they I guess Skydance had to speak before the Senate, because it's like, what the fuck?
Oh.
And they are denying that that the Late Show was canceled because of Trump, and that they fully complied with anti-bribery laws in their Paramount deal. And it's just so fucking. I'm just hoping that they probe into this. I am, because I don't think there's any doubt. This is also the same.
Would it be documented?
Wasn't it ABC? Is ABC 60 Minutes? Did they also do the? Yeah, it was, right? Isn't that? Or I mean, NBC, CBS? What the fuck, Dale?
I don't know.
Is it CBS?
My question is, do you think that they documented it, like that there was internal communications about pressure from the White House?
Yeah, it is CBS. I don't know. So, and then you had just prior to that 60 Minutes, which is one of the cornerstone.
Mateo bailed you out in the chat. CBS.
Thank you, Mateo. Yeah, so CBS is like one of the cornerstones of like, news television. I mean, 60 Minutes, it's been around forever, as long as I've been alive. And it's been like, of high repute, right? Like just absolute. Integrity. Donald Trump sues them, and then they settle for this like token amount, 16 million or whatever it was, that they ended up paying Donald Trump. This prior to the firing of Colbert. So it is my sincerest hope, my absolute most sincerest hope, that they probe into this. Whether it's now, whether it's 2 years from now, whether it's 4 fucking years from now, I don't care. I just hope that if there's ever another legitimate government in the United States of America, that this deal gets looked at. Because this would be like totally earth shaking if this motherfucker was taking payments and doing favors.
Just fucking throw it on the pile. I mean, Jesus Christ, there were like fucking classified documents in his toilet, like fuck. It's just like nothing is ever. The times where accountability actually happens are long gone. They probably never even existed,
Yeah. Like, Stefan's with us, by the way, and he agrees. He says 60 Minutes is pretty great, to be honest. 60 Minutes is fucking great. It's one of the best, news shows there is. This is, I think, the point I'm making. Sorry to interrupt, Angela.
No, that's okay. The extra gents said, "You don't give a fuck because it doesn't affect you." I'm assuming this is about me saying I don't give a fuck about culture war stuff. And this is a really valid criticism, because me saying that I don't give a fuck about racist
this gene bullshit,
racist controversies in the media because it doesn't affect me, that's totally valid, because there's a lot of this whole situation that doesn't affect me, right? I'm very privileged that way.
It bothers me a lot.
I feel like it's really easy
ways.
to side for the people who are righteously fighting against racism and xenophobia. I feel like that's a really easy stance to take. What I don't want to get dragged into is being like distracted by these sorts of fights that get co-opted by like media manipulators. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, it's really easy to take a super significant cultural conflict, right? Something that does really affect everybody who has to cohabitate, you know?
Yeah.
And then turn it into this other like annoying little needling argument that actually won't amount to anything. Like, if we get to the bottom of Sydney Sweeney's ad and how she read that ad copy that was written by the people who are working for American Eagle, nothing about our lives and our culture and this very righteous fight against racism and xenophobia in the United States is going to change. So I just feel like it's super important to
let me ask you something.
Really, you got to prioritize your energy about this kind of stuff, because if you get yanked around by every single manipulation in the media that has to do with this topic, you're going to just be exhausted and you won't have any fight left for the things that do matter.
Well, let me ask you something about that, because when you say that, what about challenging it so that it gets out of the system, so that people, so that it can be stopped? I mean, what you have is you have a propaganda that has an aim, presumably.
That's a good point. Like,
how do you stop
pushing back on these things? Like, the only consequences that an ad agency would ever face is if the product that they're advertising this way completely tanks and plummets. But we've already seen as a result of these ads that there's a bunch of people willing to like purchase more because they love this kind of advertising.
Right.
So it's like, it's in this way that you got to kind of pick your battles. Like, you can't sort of like feed the other side too, because they're more than happy to like wallow in the shit of every single one of these culture war fucking little arguments. And it's just exhausting. So my whole thing is like, just let them exhaust themselves. This shit doesn't fucking matter. Okay, so you're a racist fucking jeans company and you want to like, cater to your very narrow base. Like, fine. I can't care about that. Like, there's people who are actually suffering because of racism.
Well, I mean, the other point that you bring up really is that like half of the time that I think a lot of the distraction that goes on the right is like just the idea of like distracting people about absolute nonsensical bullshit.
Yeah, like, do you remember when they had ads like, what was it, fucking Pepsi or Coca-Cola or something? I think it was Pepsi, where they had like a George Floyd protest, and then they were just like, oh, we can all get along, let's just hand each other a fucking Pepsi. Like, it's like you could get enraged about that because it's extraordinarily insensitive, but like everybody's so frazzled and exhausted that you have to really focus on what matters.
By the way, we don't know if it was Pepsi. If it wasn't Pepsi, we apologize to Pepsi.
It was a horrible, really insensitive ad. It was just a few years ago, but a million things have happened since then, so I can't remember. But it's just like, you just can't spare any of your energy for these fucking ads. It's basically like, what I need everybody to recognize, this is what has been helping me a lot, is like, in a fucking class war, which is what we're struggling in, there is a fucking corporate overlord class that is constantly trying to beat you down. And they'll use these like really annoying little things to do it. Like, of course it was fucking Pepsi or Coca-Cola who's trying to like basically like weaponize a very, very real conflict for profit, So it's like, this just like narrows the focus on like, who is the enemy here?
Yeah.
It's these fucking corporations. Like, they're just making fun of you. Like, they're just fucking manipulating you.
They mock us.
They're mocking you.
They steal from us and they mock us for it.
So it's like, my problem isn't with Sydney Sweeney, although she's like, an arm of the Hydra, or the one head of the Hydra or whatever. My problem is with this fucking, like, the corporate class that has basically taken over our entire government and made us all miserable. And it's constantly just like extracting every wonderful thing from our lives.
Was it the extra agents that said that?
Yes.
They say it's easy for you to dismiss something that affects people day-to-day lives with euphemistic description.
Yeah, I don't believe that I'm dismissing anything. That's the thing.
Well, you can clarify. You can clarify it.
Okay, it's easy for you to dismiss something that affects people's day-to-day lives with the euphemistic description, distraction, we're living with the consequences of apathy. I understand what you're saying, and I completely agree with what you're saying here. But what you're saying is that something that affects people's day-to-day lives, a jeans ad, does not affect your day-to-day life. That's not happening. A denim commercial is not affecting your day-to-day life.
Well, I wonder, because like if
and
you're somebody
using it to fuck with you.
Well, I wonder, like, if you're somebody who's been dealing with dealing with racism, right, on the wrong end of it. I mean, there's a right end of it, but you know what I mean, right? If you're on the receiving end of it, yeah, I mean,
there's huge problems. Yeah, huge problems.
I mean, when you see something like that, when you see an ad where there's an implication that there's like,
it is definitely a death by 1,000 cuts, but you have to understand that is.
I was debilitated by Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man to the point where I got brought down to my fucking knees. All he was doing was playing a character, but that was my perpetrator. That was the guy that took my knees out from me.
Yeah.
He took my breath out from me. So if somebody has had their life and their heritage ruined by people who believe in genetic superiority, maybe that affects them differently than it would me. Do you know what I mean? Like if they're sitting there, like for example, everybody else got to watch the fucking Spider-Man ad and get excited. I found myself literally physically debilitated by it.
Yeah, that's a great comparison.
So I wonder if maybe it's okay that you're having your experience because your experience is fucking important, but I don't know that it's an experience that's going to apply to somebody who has a very deep, deep wound that isn't healing because all they get to see are things like more penetration and perpetuation of a fucking a lie that has destroyed not only their lives but the lives of their ancestors for hundreds of years.
No, I get it, and this is how they fucking grind you down. Is that they put it on your fucking TV? Like you're just.
I think we do have to pay attention to these things and get fucking angry.
You're just trying to have like a nice time watching fucking TV, and a commercial comes on that reminds you of like what people think of you and how fucking racism is getting more normalized.
That ain't right.
It's absolutely awful.
So I think it's important that we fight back against it when we can and say the shit that we should say about it and all that other stuff, because it's like, who else is going to defend those who are debilitated by it? I have begged for the world to help me.
Here's the thing. This is
for years.
You have to understand what I'm saying. I'm saying that it is a major problem and it's a distraction. And I think that both of those things can be true simultaneously. I think that it's being used as a distraction specifically to exhaust people who should be marshaling their energy, saving their energy for a bigger fight. I think that that's the plan.
Well, thank you, because I love what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying?
Here.
Like, it is a huge major problem. It's also a distraction. That's part of why it's a problem.
So I think it's like more about paying attention and making sure you're not being tricked into something that is going to switch your focus from something that might actually create meaningful change.
This is what
and
I'm
I think
saying.
that's a really great.
Can you meaningfully fight against a fucking American Eagle ad? No, you can't meaningfully fight against that. Are you supposed to meaningfully fight against a fucking commercial? Do you benefit? Does your community benefit at all if you fight against a commercial?
The answer is yes. No, the answer is yes. But you have to stop propaganda. So the answer is absolutely yes. You have to fight against that.
I think it's important to.
You have to rip those posters down.
Oh, but it's not a poster.
Well, I'm being metaphoric.
Like, are you going to be able to take that ad off of the air? Are you going to be able to find out who wrote that ad, who's funding that ad, who is in charge?
Here's the problem. The problem is that
who's in charge is your target.
The problem is that there's two rights here, because if it is a distraction, and I believe that you're right, I believe that at least on occasion, whether it's this or another, that they use these kinds of tactics to create distractions. But the problem is that they're using distractions that are hurtful and harmful and that destroy and degrade our society. And so they have to be addressed. And that's what makes them effective distractions. If you just call if you just cry wolf, and there's nothing there, if there's no there, as they like to say, then there's no fight. But wait, then there's no fight. There's nothing there that keeps you distracted. So it's about them picking the topics that actually do matter, that do cause harm, that cause the kind of trouble that requires a bit of a revolt or people to come out and speak out against it. And this is actually an important distinction, because we have a situation where both things are right, and they're basically both being achieved by the one act. But the one thing we must always do is rebel. We must always rebel. There's no other choice. You cannot ever lay a complacent moment on something that, if you believe that there's especially something calling itself American anything, putting out an ad that is boasting superior genetics, then we need to tear that down. We need to burn it to the ground.
It's just so.
We need to burn that to the fucking ground. There shouldn't even be a hesitation.
I know that you're speaking hyperbolically, and I wish that we could burn it to the ground, but that's my point. You can't. You can't.
I'm gonna get canceled for that. Let's see if I'm still on TikTok.
Oh, for talking about arson? I'm saying, like, if there was a way, then yeah, okay. But you're speaking hyperbolically, you're using hyperbole to describe what you would like to do. Yeah, burn it to the ground, but you can't. We're talking about a fucking ad.
Well, no, obviously I'm talking about what I wish would happen. That doesn't necessarily mean what will happen.
Like literally, what is it you're describing? And is that something that is possible and doable? And does it help you achieve your goals? Because this is the thing, is if you read any of the autobiographies from any of these really, really great revolutionaries and civil rights icons, right?
Yeah.
One thing that they always talk about is how difficult it is to discern what the real fight is from all of these little distractions and stuff. And it's just like, it's super important to sort of like learn about that process of discernment and really make sure that you're caring for your energy and the energy of the people that are fighting alongside you. And I just feel like that's a really important thing to do now, because this whole time is meant to just completely flood the airwaves with bullshit and distract us. And I don't know.
Again, I think you're making a great point.
I don't know how much we're solving that situation by talking about it all the time here, but I just feel like it's important to just remind people, like, there is a prize. We can keep our eye on it. And I'm not sure. I'm just asking the question. I'm not sure whether this topic with American Eagle advertising is worth the effort. It could be. I could be wrong. I'm just asking the question. It's an important question to ask all the time.
No, I think it's important to know that you're being tricked at, and the problem is that, as I keep repeating, we're kind of just beating around the bush, and we should probably move on to the next topic. But the problem that I think that gets introduced is that they're using real fire. If you're not using real fire, then it's easy to walk away from. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt me can apply. But these aren't sticks and stones. This is the stuff that does hurt. This isn't. This is sticks and stones, right? Sorry, I don't know how to. I'm fucking up my own analogy, but you follow. I hope you follow me when I'm saying that. They're using real fire here. This isn't something that you can just let go very easily and not, and not pay attention to, because very specifically, there are people who are being injured by it. Specifically, there are people who are being injured by it. And listen, the one thing about the Sweeney ad for me was, like, I watched it and I was like, yeah. Now you agree that it is, and you're sure that it is. I don't know. I mean, that to me, it could be a dumb ad. Just a really, like, didn't realize.
Oh no, it's absolutely a fucking dog whistle.
Okay,
for sure.
well, okay. Well, if it is, then
it's not even a dog whistle. It's like a whistle.
Well, then it's important that we do bulk at it. We put it in the we express our distaste for it. This is crucial. The one that, and I don't remember the brand, sadly, because I got so turned off and I turned into a raving lunatic off it.
No, after it was Dunkin', bro.
Was it Dunkin'? Dunkin' Donuts. Dunkin' Donuts did an ad where they had a kid.
It's like the
talking
same
about
ad
his
agency.
superior genes that led to his perfect tan, his perfect golden tan. It was, to me, like a staggering.
Because it had absolutely nothing to do with anything in the ad.
Anyway, we've belabored this. I understand the point you're making. I was just trying my best to also point out, because, like, to be sure, the thing that, no one's going to know about you or me in this live, unless they've been with us for a long time, is that we are, we're highly into equality for all human beings. Like, we are big time on that road. And I think that, so I think it would be easy to take out of context your meaning, which is that don't let the world, don't let these fuckers distract you by using the things that they know will trigger you to bring you along a ride that they want you on. They want you down that old tired road so they can make this new road to another despicable place that you're not even watching.
See, my whole thing is just where I'm coming from, and maybe this is why I feel like maybe I'm being misinterpreted. Is just that, like, I'm always super focused on like solidarity for the working class. So
Yes.
like anything else, I feel like is just like another weapon of our oppressors to divide us. And I just feel like it's really important to always sort of center that main focus, which is working class unification.
Yeah.
And like obviously racism is their favorite tool of
I
dividing
think we
people.
have to keep them down separate roads. We have to keep them on separate roads because, you know, of course we have that, and that's just so critical. But I think one of the reasons why Roe v. Wade disappeared is because people take things for granted. We as society can take things for granted very easily that seem institutionally in place. So it's like I knew this person who, it drove me crazy, right? But like after Trump got elected and I said, hey, this is like a real warning sign, you know, there's a whole very large group of people who are very fucking angry at, even though the Democratic side of politics in this country is corrupt to all hell, they at least have some semblance of ability to govern. And, you know, they try to hide it at least, you know what I mean? It's like, at least try to hide it, because in your effort to try and hide it, you'll do some good things. You know, if it's just like a big, you know, crime boss sitting in the big chair, it's just going to be awful, except for them. So I forget where I was going with this, but
Stefan made a really good point.
What's that, Stefan?
Stefan said, while that's true, they as a company have already factored that in. This is American Eagle. They have already factored it in as a company. They backpedaled and talk about how much they missed the mark until everyone is satisfied, and all the while they shot up one of the most known denim brands in the world. Either way, using racism to manufacture a controversy and then inevitably a redemption story as a means of marketing is inherently unethical. And this is the thing. I believe Stefan's onto something here. It does seem like it is coordinated. They're like, we'll start a huge controversy and then we'll come out and apologize for the controversy. And all the while, everybody's going to be talking about us and our brand. Free promotion. Everybody, we're going to be the talk of the town.
What's interesting is that they chose her, that she was down for it if she knew. Like, did she know?
Well,
like, did her reps know? Or was she like bamboozled into like being like white power all of a sudden? Like, what the fuck happened?
I don't know, man.
Blue jeans? Wow.
She's young. I don't know if she got just like dragged into something and didn't realize the implications of it. Or
and doesn't she have like fucking like a lot of major shit coming out? Like important shit?
Yes.
All right, we're going to move on to our next story.
She's starring in a movie soon. I hope it doesn't tank because of this.
This might be our last story. I don't know. But this is definitely, you know, who knows what we end up talking about around here, because you guys get us going. You fuckers get us going. All right. Last thing I got for you on my agenda here is a story that you told me about that I need you to tell us all about, because I don't have all the details, but I remember it becoming very engaging for me. And this is a story about Christian Bale being a real one.
Christian Bale's a real one.
Yeah. Tell us about how Christian Bale, what he did, something about orphans. What did he do?
Yes. Okay. Let me tell you a story about how Christian Bale is a real one.
And first of all, like, just to put it into perspective, right? Christian Bale is the son of somebody who's like like on paper a really good guy. What?
Yeah, here, this article covers it.
Okay, thank you.
Christian Bale's 16-year passion project for unhoused foster youth.
Fuck you, Leonardo DiCaprio. This is also called Fuck You, Leonardo DiCaprio. That's what this article should be called. You know, fuck you, Leo. Christian is the real one. Go ahead.
Okay, so Bale is a compassionate advocate for foster children. And his recent initiative is to build a village in California for foster children. This shows his dedication to creating a better future for those vulnerable youths. What I'm reading from is the website of the Right Way Foundation. Okay, so they're writing about him. Since the birth of his daughter in 2005, Christian Bale has been moved by the plight of foster children in California. Learning about the high number of children in care in the state shocked him, and he was determined to make a difference. This led to the development of a unique village. It will include 12 foster homes, 2 studio apartments for independent living, and a 7,000 square foot community center. The village aims to keep siblings in the foster care system together and provides them with a supportive environment where they can thrive. Bale co-founded Together California, the organization behind the project. He believes keeping siblings together is crucial for their well-being. He envisions the village as a place of transformation.
My dad, by the way, who was orphaned from after World War II, my grandfather didn't come home. He survived, but he wouldn't come home. He lived in shame. He was psychologically broken. Apparently he landed in Normandy. My grandmother then abandoned all of the children. There were 5, my dad being the youngest. and they were fostered once found.
They were orphaned by their parents.
They were orphaned by their parents.
By their living parents.
Living parents, both living. And she went off and married another and had children with another man.
Incredible.
My dad learned about this in his 80s and learned who they were. They reunited in his late 70s and 80s. But I digress. He and his siblings were all split up.
Yeah, it happens all the time.
They were
it's
all
horrible.
split up. They were not. I think maybe there might have been one situation where two of them were at one place, but they were all split up, and they didn't get to know each other until they were like adults.
That's horrific.
Yeah, and they were all fucked up. My my uncle died. My dad, he had his problems, and yeah, it's crazy.
Christian Bale envisions the village as a place of transformation. He also sees it as a model for future developments. I'll just read the rest of this. Christian Bale's passion for helping others stems from his upbringing. He credits his late father, David, for instilling in him a sense of altruism and compassion. David Bale was also an environmental activist and often took in people without homes.
God, I wonder how he feels about Leo.
This instilled in his son...
By the way, people don't know this about Christian Bale.
Hang on.
Okay.
This instilled in his son a sense of duty to help those in need too. You were going to say?
People don't know this about Christian Bale, but he wanted to do American Psycho like forever. It was his baby project, and he was like shepherding that project forever to get made. Leo hit with Titanic, and he tried to steal it because it was like such a coveted role. He tried to steal it, and he did. And he succeeded.
He knows he's a fake environmentalist.
He's a fucking fake, and he knows he's a fake environmentalist. But Leo tried to steal American Psycho from Christian Bale. I know this to be fact.
I know,
because it was publicized.
You think they still have beef about that?
Oh, fucking for sure. There's no way that Christian Bale will ever forget that this little fuck got hugely famous and then tried to steal his absolute like birthright in his mind.
Yeah, right.
Do you know what I mean?
Let me just finish the rest of this article.
Thank you.
The actor Christian Bale is committed to philanthropy and direct action. And his involvement in the project shows that. He hopes that the village will provide a safe and nurturing environment for foster children. He also hopes it'll inspire others to take action. Bale believes that Californians and Angelinos need to open their eyes to the needs of foster children. They should come together to support them. The Right Way Foundation applauds Christian Bale's initiative. We also share his commitment to improving the lives of foster children, and our mission aligns with Bale's vision. We strive to empower foster care youth in Los Angeles County through housing, mental health services, employment, and community. Together, we can make a difference in the lives of foster children and change youth's futures. That is from the Right Way Foundation. This was February 13th, 2024. So it's a little bit of old news, but
that's okay. And who was the writer?
The Right Way Foundation. There's no
there's no author?
Yeah.
AI maybe.
And there you have it.
Super heartwarming. Not surprising. Love the fact that it's an interesting thing because like I had a troubled childhood in terms of my raising, but my father he's still somebody who is very highly principled man. He has these like old school, like strong beliefs about things like common sense. And while he literally beat those things into me, they changed my life and they created a foundation for my life that I think helped me become is helping me become the man I've always wanted to be. So even though my dad was tough, to say the least, his good parenting is still very present in my everyday living and breathing. And it was in fact his good parenting that really got me through the really dark times of living through so much child abuse. Not just by him, but from our neighbors. And
yeah,
it was really just that. So and what was it sort of intriguing about all this when you brought up that last part about his dad? I have a lot of dad envy sometimes because like I'll see these people who have achieved these things. I'm like, man, what if my dad like was like that in terms of support? Or, what if my dad wasn't a trucker and he was a guitarist? Like what would I be? Like would I have been, the next Eddie Van Halen?
Is that what you want to be?
No, I didn't.
Yeah. Or like people that just have their dads present, like that's a big deal,
But I was just trying to point out that like even in a sort of a troubled environment, if you've got like a highly principled, like my dad, like he lived with this orphanage problem. He lived like this orphaning problem. Orphaning, is that a word?
He was orphaned.
He was orphaned.
I don't know the words.
Anyway, he's living with all this tragedy in his life in his youth, and these are the years like that fuck you up. You know what I mean, or make you.
Yeah, of course.
And he got banged around, and so that showed up in his parenting. But there was also this like really, really highly principled, highly valued part of him that I think appears every day in my life. And so it's just interesting to be able to like, it's not all, it doesn't have to all be like peaches and cream, right? Like sometimes it's, sometimes you get roughed around, but there's still a core principle there that can deliver you to something promised.
I also really love that he's focusing on keeping siblings together, because when you've lost your parents, you know, I don't know what the circumstances of all of these foster children are, but it's traumatizing no matter what. Like being able to keep some close family member together with you in all of the uncertainty and bewildering experience of being moved around into foster care. Like it's just, that's got to make such a difference for people. Keeping foster siblings together, it's like an awesome philanthropy work.
Philanthropical. Yeah, I love it. It's instantly one of my favorites. I never really, you know, it's not, I was never orphaned, obviously, and so I didn't live in this. Absolutely, I can't imagine the terror. Like my upbringing was hard, as I've said before on this live. You've heard some of the details. Not an easy life, but man, I had a family. You know.
I've also heard a lot from. I read a lot about adopted children. My mother's an adopted kid, who didn't experience being like orphaned,
abandoned.
You know, yeah, they were
in
just
that way.
Like, yeah, they were just had been adopted by a new family.
They were handed off in a really delicate and legal way.
And there's a lot of really strange, like hidden pain and trauma that those people go through just from being uprooted and having a disconnection from your origins. You know, that's got to be really tough.
Yeah, totally. It's just interesting that the core of parenting and the importance of it, you know, and I don't know where my dad got those strong principles from. But I know that my dad moved out when he was like fucking 14 or 15 years old or whatever. So
yeah, he's like, this isn't my house anyway.
So he might have just developed those on his own as he kind of kept screwing up.
Maybe.
Walking into walls or whatever you might do in that situation. Let me see if I have anything else for you guys before we wrap up tonight. But what a great night it was like cool, man. I mean, you know, there was some good hard conversations tonight that I really enjoyed having. Oh, wait, there is one more beautiful thing that I want to talk about tonight. Can we? Do we have time? We do, right? What do we got? I don't want the sound to go bad on this. If the sound goes bad, I'll be devastated. We'll have to do it again tomorrow, guys. Can you please quickly tell us the exciting and beautiful story about the whales?
The whales.
So there are humpback whales, and humpback whales.
You want me to tell this story now?
Yeah, we got to do it right now.
But it's like 3 minutes to 9. I'll do it. Yeah. Okay. I saved this for you guys. I saw this like over the weekend and I was like, I think I'd like to share this.
Let me open it up. I'll just open it up.
Why?
Humpback whales are fucking they protect not only their own, but others against killer whales. And they do so in an incredible fashion. Tell us the story.
The story. I mean, I just read an article, but here's how it goes. Okay. A rare behavior. It remains unexplained, right? Because like the marine biologists, they're like, we think we know what's happening, but we don't know for sure because it's not like the whales are telling. Humpback whales are interfering with killer whale hunts.
Yes.
They think that it may have started because killer whales will target humpback whale babies. Okay.
Right.
And they think that maybe that is why humpback whales are starting to show up when killer whales are hunting, because they hear the hunt. And they go and see whether a humpback whale baby is being targeted.
Right.
So it's just like vengeance. Like, oh, those killer whales are bad news for humpback whales, so I'm going to go and see. But then what happens is that when they show up and it's not an endangered humpback whale.
Right.
It's like a seal or a dolphin or any other smaller animal that a orca will target. The humpback whale will still place their body and like block with their fins and literally fight orcas to save the little creature that they
travel.
They just hate. Yeah, they'll travel like 2 kilometers.
2 kilometers at high
like
speed.
Zoom over because they hear a hunt going on and they're like, not on my watch.
Apparently what they can hear is that the killer whales communicate So they say a specific thing and they fucking hear that shit 2 kilometers away and they scoot over at high speed
like,
to
"You're not eating
interfere
here."
with that hunt. They'll even lift seals out of the water on their fucking backs.
Yeah, there's a photograph that these marine biologists took when they're observing this behavior, and they've actually given a seal a ride away from the orcas. It's really crazy.
It's the greatest thing because like orcas are kind of like the crows of the sea.
Mm-hmm.
They're kind of like really hyper intelligent and really bully. Like they bully, you know. I had a great encounter with them though. That was like to me almost spiritual. I was on the Vancouver Island Pacific coast, you know, fishing for salmon. We were reeling them in, Angela. I never saw anything like it. We each brought in 8 to 12 fish in like 2.5 hours, 3 hours. We're just reeling them in. And then all of a sudden I see these big black sails off in the distance. It wasn't sails, it was fins. We were suddenly surrounded by like 9 or 11 whales and they took all of our salmon away. But I was like, holy fuck, I'm surrounded by killer whales. They're popping out of the water around me. It was truly an incredible moment.
So they hunt together, right? Or do they ever hunt solo?
Well, they all showed up and ate our fucking fish, and they were in packs.
Because this event that these marine biologists had documented, apparently it's a widespread behavior. This isn't just like one humpback whale who like hates orcas. Apparently this happens a lot.
like a Charles Bronson whale.
Yeah.
Like one with a mustache and a really like stoic demeanor.
The event filmed earlier this year was not unprecedented. A study published by Marine Mammal Science documents over 115 similar incidents in humpback whale populations around the globe.
That's so fucking cool.
However, 89% of the prey targeted by the killer whales during these interactions were not humpbacks. So they're just basically like the guardians of the sea.
They're like police, dude. They're like bully police. They're like they're like hall monitors. Hey, you, get over here. You, go back to your class.
However,
turn around, go back to your class.
Listen, humpback whales are the only marine mammals known to willingly approach mammal-eating killer whales and successfully scare them away. Despite the fact that these predators, with 4 rows of long, razor-sharp teeth, are formidable adversaries, the humpback whale's fins allow them to tip the balance of power in their favor. This is the thing. They another part of this article talks about how they have different defense techniques. Okay, so like fin whales, minke whales, and many others are really nimble in the sea. So whenever they're met with a predator, they will flee.
They can just turn corners.
Well, they can flee. They can like evade capture. But humpback whales are too big, and so what they do is they fight, which is amazing.
They're bulls.
And apparently their fins, especially because they often have like if they're older, they have these barnacles all over their fins.
I've seen it.
They can really mess somebody up.
It's like having brass knuckles.
Their fins measure over 5 meters long and weigh,
punching them with barnacle knuckles.
Barnacle knuckles. Their fins measure over 5 meters long and weigh at least 1 ton each. Their pectoral fins, and it gives them a remarkable advantage.
Wow, 1 ton.
So they just like smack a bitch.
Dude,
and then you're not eating seals today.
Not today.
That
bitch.
walrus is mine.
I love it. Do you want to do some quick comment stuff before we wrap up? That's a great fucking story. I love it. I hope you find more of those, man. Those are the best.
I love this nature stuff.
It's the greatest. And to know, like, you know, dude, I'm living a life where I'm trying to fight the biggest bully in Hollywood, in my opinion, and that's Leonardo DiCaprio. He's destroyed my goddamn life, and I need me a humpback whale. Like, I need me a big old humpback whale.
You know what's amazing is that there's a lot of indigenous cultures who had their own names for the different whales, and humpback whales are often named guardians.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether they observed this or whether they had a sense, like some sort of knowing of it. But it seems like they're really guardians of the other mammals in the sea. Amazing. We are... The chat really likes that story.
With the humpbacks, humpback stuff. Well, I'm so glad we got it in because I just looked at my notes and I was like, oh shit, the whale story is like so good to me.
De Love Casa, I don't know if I'm saying your username right, said, so happy I stumbled on your channel. You guys are awesome.
Oh, you're awesome. Thank you for coming by. We really love having you.
The extra gen said superb.
That's cool.
Stefan said, damn, bro got robbed by whales.
Bro got wrapped by. Imagine how you feel like as a whale, because like there's only one. Like, you know, when the humpbacks come, they got to just be like, oh fuck these guys already. They probably just go after them calves like nothing. You know, they like see a.
I know.
You know?
I know. It's just making the making the gang war worse underwater. You know. It's
hard to because like I have a love hate for the exactly. I have a love hate for the orcas because you know they fucking boot like dudes off of surfboards, and they like, worse is them,
Orcas don't. They don't.
No,
ever
they
target
don't. They don't.
people.
I'm talking about the boats. Do you remember all this? There was like a string
Yes.
of them like
That they were attacking
attacking
yachts.
boats.
We were like Team Orca.
24-foot. I was in one of them, dude, and them fucking big ass fish around your boat is a scary ass thing.
Okay, so check this out. So this is really interesting. So they say that that orcas, they believe that the reason they don't attack humans because there's no known human attack by an orca, by a killer whale.
Well, did you see the movie?
No.
Because there is in the movie. It's called Orca.
Okay.
It's got Richard Harris in it.
Okay.
The orca cries.
And I bet they're in the movie they talk about how surprising that is
The
because
orca
it never
cries.
happens.
Spoiler. The
Okay,
orca
listen.
cries. It cries. It goes,
Okay.
go ahead.
So they think that maybe the reason why is because these sea mammals are super smart and they probably recognize that humans are vengeful creatures, and so if they maybe like generations and generations ago somebody, an orca ate a human and then their whole population was decimated, and so they told the tale.
Yeah,
so
right.
now they stay away from people. Well, what if it's the same way with humpback whales?
Ah.
They target the baby whales, but then the humpback whales will come and like make sure they starve to death in the ocean forevermore.
I love it so much. Stefan's saying, were they at least gentlemen thieves about it when they took all your salmon? Well, listen, first of all, they dressed up for the occasion. They all wore tuxedos. And yeah, they were totally gentlemen. We brought in so many fish. I think they were just hanging around the periphery, and they were like, "These guys have ate plenty. It's our turn." Because we hauled in so many fish, and then they showed up. They were beautiful and intimidating all at once. We were in a 20-footer fishing boat, so I didn't feel like totally insecure about it. But man, they come up along that boat. Ahead of us was a guy in a regular, just like a, rear engine tin boat or whatever.
Yeah, he was freaked out.
And the fuckers went right up to him. And
were his eyes like this big?
I don't know. He was too far away from me, but all I could see was his boat. And the fucking whale comes up to his boat and goes down like this. And his boat goes up like this. And then the tail comes up and then like
That's
this.
not good.
And it was you guys didn't even see all that. It was nuts, dude. It was crazy. I thought, oh my God, that guy's going to die. I thought he was going to get thrown in the water.
Yeah.
But he stayed on his boat. He just hung on, fucking oars and all. And I don't even, he didn't have oars. He had a rear
That
thing.
is so
He hung on
scary.
and stayed in. Yeah.
Man, you won't ever catch me in the ocean. No way, not me.
Guys, thank you for joining us tonight on Too Real Live. We have so much fun. We had a pretty good turnout tonight compared to most nights, and we thank all the newcomers who came along for the ride. We hope you enjoyed our time together. We have a really great group of folks. Special thanks to them coming out every day for us and supporting us. It's really, I gotta tell you, it was like another one of those days where I kind of had the Mondays, bro. I was feeling down as shit, and these guys just lift me up every time. So it really is a privilege to come here every night and hang out with you guys during the week. And we'll be back again tomorrow. Good night, Angela.
Good night.
Great live. See you tomorrow.